Rafa, we are at the manager's room. Behind you on the desk is the St James Park.
Crystal Palace game.
The Crystal Palace game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's you over there, that little one. What is Wally? That little one there is you. Now, did you decide to put this picture?
Yeah, we changed a little bit the training ground. Obviously, it's not easy to change big things without big money, but to create that football atmosphere and then give some color and some passion, and then I think it was the right picture.
So the walls are white. There's a screen right at the end, and there is blackboards that are white. A blackboard's called whiteboards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a whiteboard then. Two of them. And on your right hand side, you've got the pitches. You've got the training pitches, and this was always the manager's room when you came in. This was
When we came here, it was the manager's room. It was different in, as you say, the picture at the back, all these things, but nothing special. We brought the monitor and everything. The TV, we have the connection with the HDMI. So the normal thing that you have now in modern football, even when they talk about young managers, and we have some young managers around, they think that the old managers, we don't have technology. We have technology, we have everything, because if not, you cannot keep winning at this level. And then the main thing is you have good staff, good people working around you that they can make the difference, giving you the information. So one of the key parts of a manager is not just all the stats or all the things that people can see, is your decisions. And your decisions are sometimes depending on the information that your people is giving to you. So always I say to my staff, we have the software, we have everything, but the information has to come very simple, very clear. So if we want the players to play for the wide areas instead through the middle, so we have to prepare everything that will be very clear for them and no doubts about the message. That is the key part. So you have all the information, all the stats, everything, but the message has to be very clear.
You're talking about coaches. We have an audience here. We've got Christian, Albert and Stuart, who are the coaching staff of Biggleswade United in the 9th division in England, to which you dedicated half of your day to. They've come to see you training, you've been talking to them about what you're doing, you're showing them videos, etc. You don't do that because it's part of your job. You do that because in Spain generally the coaches are teachers. You share knowledge, is part of your makeup, isn't it?
Yeah, also I am a teacher because I have a degree in physical education. I was teaching in the school, so little kids, different years, for 3 years. But also because I remember when I was a young coach and I was traveling around the world, talking with managers, learning from everyone. Even the countries that they don't have a big tradition in football, they have a different way to approach. For example, when you go to United States, they talk about the stats and physiology and all these things. You learn something. Then you go to Italy when they talk about tactics and everything. You go to France, you go to England. I came to England when I was a young coach to see different methods. And then
Who did you go to see? You went to see
Tottenham. I was with Ardiles the other day, with Osvaldo, when I went to see Tottenham, and I went to see Manchester United later on. But Tottenham I remember because I was talking with him about that. They were training, they were running outside, they were not training in the stadium on the pitch. And after I went with the coaches of the reserve team, and they treat me really well. I went with them to have lunch with the players, and I was impressed because the players, they were waiting. So the captain was coming, can we go? Yeah, you can go right now. Yeah, everybody has finished. So totally different the culture that you were watching, living in Spain. And it's something that you are learning, so it helps you to improve as a coach.
When you went to Carrington, was it Steve McLaren that looked after you in that visit?
Yeah.
And what do you remember what you learned from what was going on?
I remember every day because we're going early in the morning and we were surprised, for example, they were not doing a proper warm-up. They were starting with the squares and they were smashing the ball all the time, and we were, could be very dangerous, but they were fine. After the exercises, I remember Solskjaer that was training on his own, asking for permission. I went to one side because he was coming from injury. And I remember Bacon and Scholes and Dwight York, and then they were doing some patterns, and I was talking with Jordi Cruyff, and he was telling about, they do this, they do that. The exercises were 9 against 9 in half of the pitch, and after the shooting, so was totally different that we used to watch, and it's always something that I was taking notes, obviously, and something that you will learn, and then you say, okay, I will do this in this way. Maybe in Spain you have to do that in another way.
Did you cross paths with Sir Alex Ferguson on that occasion?
On Friday, because they were playing against Leeds on Saturday, and he came on Wednesday, and he was talking about the contract of Roy Keane, and I remember because everybody was laughing and then joking, and he was in the offices at the top, and the players, they were telling, the boss is there. And on Friday he has lunch, and then we met and we say hello.
Did you remember what you ate for lunch? Your memory?
Yeah, well, something was, I don't know, it was spaghetti, because I remember something with tomato. But they beat the Leeds the day after 4-0. Harry Kewell was playing for Leeds, and after was my play in Liverpool. And I remember because Stan was the centre back, and they were playing 2 against 2 all the time, and said tactically it's not the best, but still they were much better than the other team.
Your memory is legendary amongst your staff, and is it true that you remember, was it like the juvenile B at Real Madrid or something, like the lineup and almost like the years of the people, the when they were born almost?
I have had some, I forget things, especially if I want to forget things. So. But I remember sometimes watching the picture of the team, I remember the size of the players. So every single player, the names and a lot of things, and games, sometimes games. But maybe I don't remember, I don't know, another thing, but I remember these kind of things because it was very intense all the time. When I was a coach, and then for the young coaches, at this time we were using, my first computer was Commodore 64, the Spectrum Commodore, that was a long time ago with MS-DOS, and we were preparing my clips that you can see now, all the software that you have. I have to buy 2 video recorders, 2 machines, and then connecting both, and then stopping one and with the other one. I was Betamax, no VHS, it was Betamax, after VHS, and after I bought a Sony table that I could do the mix of the exercises and everything. And we were going, my staff can tell you, we're going in the bus, in the coach for games, and I was using the videos to watch AC Milan, Arrigo Sacchi, how they press, what they do. So you have to have some passion for football, and then you cannot stay as long as we are now as a manager. We are getting older, but still young, because still we have the passion and we want to win, we want to improve, we want to learn, and we want to teach our players and to improve them. Some people will say, oh, it's too much, you have to relax, but that is the way. And the other day, and I will tell you something that I didn't say, I told my staff, Graham Souness was talking about Bob Paisley. And people say, oh, sometimes you have to put the arm on the shoulder of the players. And he said, we were winning, and he was pushing and pushing and pushing to keep winning and improving. And then when you have someone that has been so successful doing that, why the other way is the only way? So it has to be different ways to win. And the way that we do is trying to improve players, pushing in the right way, but trying to improve them, to teach them something. And if you don't have this passion, you cannot pass this passion to your players.
The passion is the process, the improving, or is there a particular thing that really still brings you all the extreme feelings of coaching before a game, after a game, or where is the?
I said sometimes in some interviews that I was coming from the academy of Real Madrid, and then to finish second is a disaster. So then you had been coached, or you have grown with the feeling that you have to win, you have to win. The good thing is that my family gave me some principles, and then you try to win in the best way possible, and then you try to do things in the right way, but you have to be competitive. And when you can win with your players, with the players that you have been coaching and improving, not because you have top class players and that's it, you go and you can win, that is fine, that's good. But really I enjoy when you have players that they are growing and coming with you and then go to the first team and they make the difference, or players that you get at the beginning of the season and you can teach them something different that can make the difference later on.
What did you take, you mentioned your parents, what did you take from them? What kind of...
Normally, my father, when he was 11, he was working. So he was working in a hotel, and he was working all his life until he died. And my mother was always taking care of the family. We were 3, my 2 brothers, my sister and my brother, and myself. And then we were a family of workers that little by little my father was giving us something because he was quite clever and we're a medium class family in Spain, and my passion was always to work hard, to play football. I remember on the weekends when we were going on holidays in Madrid, my brother was going, for example, the weekends he was going with his friends to the disco, and I was on my own with the ball trying to improve my ability. And after I was coaching my friends during the summer, the team in Villalba in the area of Madrid. And when I went to the university, I was playing my own university, and I was a player and coach of the university team. So, and I have a friend that is now a coach in China, and he was coaching Real Madrid, and he was telling me we were qualified for the final in Sevilla, all the universities, and then he was telling me, listen, full of people, young people in Sevilla, that it's a great atmosphere, and we have to go to bed at 1 o'clock. So we were going to bed at 1 o'clock when the rest of the people were until 5 o'clock in the morning on parties, and we were at 1 o'clock, and because we wanted to win, and we were there for years that the university was not going there. So that was the passion that we have, or I had, and they had at the end, because these people, for example, now they are coaches.
Mm-hmm. You were Spanish international.
With the Spanish university in 1979, Universidad in Mexico, when Pietro Menea beat the record of 200 meters. That was a great experience because I was a young player, and you have to be international and you have to be in the university to be there, no? And then I was called the last day. We went to Madrid to the Blume residence. They gave me the suit, and we fly to Mexico, and we play against America. Dirceu was playing for America, and Cruz Azul, the two friendlies before to start. And it was 15 days, and I remember the first day that we were training in Mexico, 2,200 meters. It was a 180 the rate, the bit rate, because the heart rate, because you couldn't manage with the altitude, and little by little we were doing well. We played the first game against Cuba. We beat 4-0 Cuba, and I played the first game. I take a penalty, and the second game against Canada, I was injured, and then I was 15 days there injured, and then is when I start having problems with my knee.
I haven't seen you play, but I'm gonna picture what you were like. Not very fast.
Yep.
But midfielder.
Yeah. Sweeper. At this time, the best position was sweeper, because I was not very fast, but I could see the pitch, and holding midfielder. But I was playing as a rifle back, centre back, right winger at the beginning, but my main position was holding midfielder as a professional. And when I was doing well, it was a sweeper, because I was watching everything from behind.
Very vocal.
Yeah, like now.
Shouting, or trying to lead.
Quite positive, trying to help the team.
Okay. And what kind of relationship you had with the rest of the team? Were you one with the jokes, or were you just?
No, some jokes, yeah. Yeah.
Although I believe you can tell jokes, but they're not very good, they say.
No, they say, but some of them they were quite good.
Can you think of one?
No, I have a lot of them, but not here. So. No, I used to have good relationship, because I was when I went to Parla, that was League One. I was young at this time. You have 4 under-20s. And it was just 4 months I was not under 20. So then we were together, the 4 under 20s and myself, we were together, and we were always young people joking and then enjoying ourselves and training hard. So we were working very hard. And after last year when I went to Linares with senior people, with Pulido that was playing for Spain, it was an ex-Sevilla player, and Boro that was playing for Oviedo, Prado that was playing for Almeria, that they were playing in first division. And I was 26 at this time, but still I have a good relationship with the young players, because at the same time, when I signed for Linares, I was approached for the director of a school. Then they needed a teacher, and I said, listen, I am a player, but they needed a teacher with a degree in physical education. So then we organized on Monday morning and Thursday morning, because at this time you were playing Thursday afternoon the games. So I had 3 classes of PE on Monday and Thursday, and after I was training and playing games. And I was teaching them, but the difficult thing for me is that my students, they were between 13 and 16 years old, girls, all of them, And my teammates, some of them, they were 18 years old. So when they were going in the evenings to have a drink, they were going with some of my students. They said, listen, be careful. So I was like a father, and at the same time I was a friend. No.
Drink? You never?
No.
You never drink?
No.
I think I've seen you once or twice raising a glass of champagne or cava or something because it was a celebration. But like wetting your lips and
I can taste a little bit, but I don't drink.
Why is it? You don't like the taste? You don't like?
No, I used not to do it, and that's it.
Right. You mentioned your mother. She's still in Madrid.
Yeah.
How often you ring her?
I talk with her 3-4 times every week. I have to go to see her. She's a little bit upset because I'm here, but I have to go. And then I remember her when I was in Madrid. You see the Real Madrid corner, the shops in the corner. That was used to be my pitch where we were training. So on Friday she was taking me there. It was very, very cold in winter, and then she was always there waiting, and it was a good time. And I remember when we were going there, for example, for people now, you didn't have your boots. They were giving you the boots. So the kidman was saying, listen, which is your number? You say, 41. Okay, take this. 44. Come on, shut up, you call it. So you were going with a 44 boots to play, and then that was the time, and you couldn't complain. So at this time, even when you were kicking the ball away, you have to go because the Bernabeu, you know, the walls, and then after you have the street. So you were kicking the ball outside, you have to go, open the gate, go and take the ball and come back, because if not, you were losing one ball. So that was a big problem.
Did you must have taken your parents to Anfield, which must be a different experience to go into a Spanish stadium. Do you remember what they felt the first time you took them to an English stadium when they saw you surrounded by adoring fans?
As a manager, or just to watch a game, you say?
No,
as a manager.
Yeah, when you were manager of Liverpool.
Yeah, my first game was against Manchester City with Keegan as a manager. We beat them 2-1, and my first experience there is that I couldn't see the penalty area, the box and the corner, because you know the bench in Anfield, they were very close. So when he was stand up, I couldn't see and he couldn't see. So it was a surprise for us, because normally in Spain you are too wide, no? And in this case we were very tight. And at the beginning it was fine, because you could shout in Spanish, more or less. But as soon as the Spanish players were coming, or the Spanish manager were coming, you cannot shout, because they understand what you say. The other day with Pochettino, then you have to think about, I say in Spanish or in English, but he understands English, so that was interesting.
My very poor question, you made it much better with your answer. I was just saying, if your parents have gone to Anfield, if you took your mom and your dad when he was around, did you take them to an English stadium? Because the experience must have been completely different to them.
Yeah, no, it's totally different. Yeah, it's true that people, they don't realize, we are talking about 2004 when we came here. There were not too many Spaniards around, and then little by little they are coming, and players and managers, but at this time was totally different. So the way that the English culture approach the games, how they enjoy, how they support the team, singing, and with a lot of respect. I remember I came to watch was Stoke Fulham. I think it was Stoke Fulham.
What was the score?
2-0. That was long time ago. But I remember to see the fans walking around without any problem. And at this time was not easy to see these things in Spain when they had more or less a rivalry. And Italy obviously is even more difficult. So that was something that I liked, and it was very interesting, because in Spain you could see the fans arguing, and here was a lot of respect at this time.
And also they treat, especially in Liverpool, Newcastle as well, they treat the manager as a special figure, somebody that's come from the sky sometimes to save them, because you came in both cases in a situation where they needed to be saved. And how they react to you winning, it must be difficult to assimilate, because they treat you all of a sudden like a god. Do you have that sense that they figure the manager with that reference?
When I just arrived, the target was in 3 years' time to compete. I remember that, talking with Rick Parry and David Moss, the president, the chairman, said in 3 years' time we want to compete. So the first year we played the final of the Carling Cup, and we won the Champions League. So that was massive. And I didn't realize how important was after I have received hundreds of programs of Istanbul to sign from Liverpool fans, but at this time I didn't know, and everybody was telling me, listen, now is the time that you can change things, that you can do things. And I was talking today about Istanbul and the miracle of Istanbul, and when a friend of mine, when we were out of a party after the final, and I wanted to come back, and a friend of mine that was there, and they didn't allow me to go, the security, and my friend said, listen, do you know who is this man? He's God, he's God. So for them, and still now, you can even Evertonians in the city, but the Liverpool fans, they love you because it was massive for them to win after 21 years.
But isn't that confusing? I've walked with you in the streets of Liverpool, and cars stopped in the middle of the road, stopped to come out and just say thank you, and then go back in and then drive away. Isn't that confusing?
No, I think it's for me it's fine. So my experience in Spain or in Italy, sometimes when you win, it's fine, but then when you lose, then they forget quickly what happened in the past. So in Liverpool, they don't forget that. So I think the English fans in general. So if you do well, they call you legend, and that's it. That is forever. So especially if they know that you have been a worker. It's not that you come, you win, and then you go. No, you have been a worker, and you have the link with the city. We have a charity. So I think the fans appreciate your commitment with the city, with the club, with the relationship with them, with the fans, and they appreciate that, and they are happy with that.
Mm-hmm. You took them to the Champions League final twice, Liverpool, and I think at the time perhaps it was almost taken for granted that you could compete, even though, come on, let's have a look at the lineup in Istanbul. Dudek, Finan, Hyypiä, Carragher, Traore, Xabi Alonso, Steven Gerrard, Luis Garcia,
Ricci on the left,
Kewell and Barros, out of which Xabi Alonso went into higher things, Steven G, of course.
Xabi was growing at this time, because people remember Xabi now, but Xabi was growing, was a young player coming from Real Sociedad.
But I don't think Carragher was, of course, still playing for a long while, but there weren't players that went from there to Real Madrid.
No, this group of players, they have the commitment that you needed, because you needed that. One of the best players that we had was Harry Kewell, and then people, because he was injured, and he was injured in 2 or 3 finals, they said, oh, he's always injured, but technically he was very good, was good in the air, he has good shot ability, he has good vision, and then for us it was a key player, and he was injured in the final after 20 minutes, and we have to change everything. But this group of players, it's true that you didn't have too many big names. Even Stevie Gerrard was growing, but the relationship between them was quite good. And little by little, to be fair, we were winning games, progressing the competition, and the feeling and the belief was stronger, was getting stronger. So we beat Juventus. We beat Juventus 2-1 at home, and Juventus was a massive team. They beat Real Madrid in the game before, and they have to beat us 1-0. So, and they were convinced with Capello as a manager, and Xabi Alonso was coming after 3 months injury with an ankle problem, and we played this game. We played with Vizcan, Núñez, Xabi Alonso in the middle in a diamond with Luis Garcia, the tip of the diamond, and Barros up front. So, if you compare with Ibrahimovic, Nedved, Del Piero, Thuram, Emerson, Camoranesi, so that was the team, Buffon, the team that they had, and we drew, and we passed to the next round against Chelsea, and Chelsea was winning the league easily, and we beat them. So people talk about this final, oh, you were lucky. No, we were not lucky. We were lucky at this time because we were playing against the best team in Europe, that was AC Milan, but we deserved to be there, and maybe we deserved to win because we did our job. So we knew about the penalty takers, and we changed the tactics in the second half. So, and this group of players, they deserve credit because they were believing from the first day that we beat Olympiacos in the group stage in the last minutes with a goal of Gerrard. So, because they have this mentality, and they wanted to do something special.
You were at 2-0 writing things down in your notebook, and
It's not a notebook, it's a piece of paper.
Piece of paper.
Yep.
And obviously you were planning ahead, and then a third goal comes in. Can we walk together from the pitch through the very long tunnel of the Ataturk?
It's long.
You and Paco Ayestaran were walking, and you had to define, one, the message to the players, and two, the tactics, no?
Yeah, I was telling Paco we needed to have Didi Hamann ready, because I wanted to change the system and to play Hamann in the middle, because Kaká was between the lines and was always a threat, and we needed to have more control in this area. And at the same time I was thinking what to say in English, because people, they don't realize, and especially the English people, because they don't realize that you have to express your emotions and you have to pass your message in another language. People think that everybody talks English, but it's not true. Then your English that was not good enough, it's not good enough now. Imagine then to explain play that you are losing 3-0 at half-time in the final against AC Milan. How can you motivate that? How can you change tactics? How can you change everything? So that was the difficult thing. What I said was we have to try to score an early goal and see if we can go back to the game. Nothing to lose. We have been working really hard to be here. And the main thing was to change the shape of the team and the tactics. Then I said that too many times, but I sent Traore to the shower. Mm-hmm. And then to play with replace for Didi. We have already one substitution with Harry Kewell out. Then it was the second substitution. When I decided the system and the way that we were playing, Paco left with Didi Hamann to finish the warm-up. And then we start adjusting the players, and then you say, well, we have a gap here on the right in my head. And I forgot Luis Garcia, and then I put, if we put Cisse here, maybe we have more control. That was the last minute. I said, no, we have Luis Garcia. Okay, fine, Luis Garcia. Then I went to see...
That means that for a while you had, is that right, 12 players on the board? Or?
No, it was just 1 second. Right. But that's because I knew I didn't have Luis, and I had a gap on the right side, so I have to fill the gap, and then I put Cisse here maybe.
And at what point you were told that Finan was injured?
Then, this time it was 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to go, Dave Gallagher, the physio, was working with Finan. And then he said, what is going on? So he has a little problem. He said, can he play? Yeah. Finan said, oh, fine. But Dave told me, you have to make a substitution. He cannot play 45 minutes. Are you sure? Yeah. And then I was, 2 substitutions and another one coming 3-0 down. Is when I decided, okay, then I changed Finan. I was not very happy with Dave and with me.
He was shouting, I'm not injured?
Yeah, they were saying that he was not injured, obviously, but I have to trust the physio. And then I bring back Traore, and instead of playing Carragher on the left side, I put Traore on the left side, that is left-footed, and it was fine. So we have, but that was, the people, they don't realize that you have to do that in the last minute after all your team talk. And we were lucky because after Gerard scored, but even after we had another problem because we had a problem on the right side, and I have to move Gerard, that he finished because Ancelotti made the right substitutions, and he has more width and then quality, and I have to put Gerard on the right, and he finished defending as a right full back. So, but people forget that we were better than them in the extra time. So we had the control in the second half, but especially extra time, we were better than them. We had the control of the game, and they had one chance. Shevchenko with Dudek, yes, it's fine, but still we did well, and we were much better than them in the penalties.
Before we go back for the second half,
okay.
There are lots of myths that have been written about that moment, the halftime. I don't know if we should actually kill some of the myths, but anyway, I'll mention it. A lot of fans think that your transformation in the second half was down to the fact that they were singing "You Never Walk Alone" and you heard it in the changing room. But I asked a lot of people, and
we couldn't hear anything.
You couldn't hear anything.
But
the other myth was that Milan players were celebrating.
We couldn't hear. I think it's true, because talking with some of the Milan players later on, they touched the cup. You cannot touch the cup because it's bad luck. I think it was Gattuso. And also they have the shares and everything ready.
Yes.
But that was another mistake, but for them 3-0 down, and the team that they had, that was a really good team.
And did you know that when the players of Liverpool and Milan come out into the pitch for the second half, Gattuso hears that everybody's singing "You Never Walk Alone," so he starts raising his arms to his own fans to say, "Come on, we're 3-0 up. Just why don't you sing?" And Carragher very cleverly turned around to his own players and said, "Look at him, he's celebrating already. We have to go for them." And he kind of transformed as well that
Yeah,
moment.
I didn't notice that, but the key for us obviously was the first goal of Stevie Gerrard. Gave us a lot of things. The second one, always I talk about that, how important is the team, the squad, because Schmeichel, I was injured before, he was not playing too many games. And I remember having this conversation, listen, you have to keep going because you never know when you will be important for the team. And then in this case, Schmeichel was massive because technically he was very good, but he was not playing regularly. So
in fact, first time ever he played as a wing back, no?
yeah, no. He's a player to play between the lines because he has quality. And in this case, so he scored a great goal. And after the penalty, Xavi was taking the penalty and missed the penalty, and then the second ball. So all these things, a lot of positives in a few minutes. But I think because the other team, AC Milan, was thinking, oh, we are already there, and we had still the belief that we could do something. And that is true that the fans, they made the difference because our fans singing, and it's something that you can feel. So it's not that you can hear, you can feel this support.
Mm-hmm. And then you went from not being recognised from the man back on the door, you couldn't go back into the hotel, to actually go to Liverpool, and wow, that must have been something else.
I have pictures at home. It was massive because we had it was impossible to move around because it was full of people, and I was suffering at the end because we were going in double deck and the players were at the top, and then we were passing the trees and the branches, and then it was very dangerous, and the bus was going very fast. But at this time everybody was celebrating and nobody was scared. And I remember people in the lamps, and then it was full of people from everywhere, because I had my memories in Valencia, people crying in the street when we won the league, but here was so massive, so people everywhere, and lamps in the roofs and the bridge. I remember also in the bridge or in the roofs of the main building, so it was amazing because it was 21 years for Liverpool. That is a massive club. It's not that you are doing this and they say, okay, everybody, but for them was to go back to your good memories, and they were really proud of that.
If I have ever seen you uncomfortable, it's surrounded by a lot of people. That's the part of you, you're not comfortable one days. A lot of people are around you, and perhaps you cannot control the situation, I don't know what it is, but you have been in pubs.
The one was good.
Especially there was one in Leverkusen.
Yeah, there's one.
That's.
We went to, it was a Chelsea-Barcelona game in the TV, and then it was on Wednesday for us, Tuesday for them, and then we said we have to go and watch the game, but in the hotel we couldn't see because they didn't have the rights or the SAT, and then we say, okay, there's a pub here, it's close. Alec Miller said, oh, there's a pub here. So then, when we just tried, we take a taxi and we arrived. We were with the tracksuit, and then it was full of people, full of Liverpool fans. But they didn't notice, and we were inside. And then when we were in the middle, and I remember the face of this one, we were in the middle, and then the one that was on my right shoulder was, oh, Rafa, and I said, shut up, Rafa. Rafa, and then they start shouting and they start singing, and then turn around and with the phones, singing. A woman giving me 2 kisses. I said, listen, watch the game. It was impossible. At this time, it was impossible. Then we have to go out. And I remember shaking hands of these big, massive scousers, and then, whoa, shaking hands. And we had to leave the pub. But it was very dangerous because it was full of people and we didn't have any space. And it takes us 10 minutes to go, take the taxi and go back. Because that was... the feeling that was really good, but at the same time was very dangerous because you couldn't move around.
Deep down, is it a shyness? You are, even though you can't command over 60,000 people or whatever, is there a shyness there that?
Yeah, you want a little bit, but at this time, so normally I'm shy, but I'm getting older, and then you have to manage. But this time was more just that you couldn't be there because they were so excited and involved. It was dangerous in the end.
You live near the training ground here?
Yeah.
Which is about, 20 minutes from the city centre in Newcastle?
No, 10 minutes from here, 10 minutes from there, more or less.
Taxi took me the long way. But do you go to the city centre of Newcastle? Do you get to walk?
At the beginning, I was living in the hotel, so was around all the time. But now, no, because normally we live here, so we leave the training ground. We came, today was 7:30 in the morning, and normally we leave 6, 7, 8, it depends on the day.
And your family stay back home in Liverpool. Your daughters are more English or Spanish these days?
English. Now English. The little one is Scouser, and the other one is English.
With accent and all?
Yeah, with some accent.
Right.
But the old one, she doesn't think that she has accent, but it's a little bit of Scouse accent, yeah.
One of them was pre-Olympic with Great Britain, is that right?
Yeah, she was in the team in the show jumping, yeah.
In the what jumping?
In the show jumping team.
Show jumping. Yeah.
She has been once with the Great British team.
Okay, has she continued?
No, now because she's in the university.
Right.
Normally, always they say the same. Till they are 16 with the ponies, fine. And after university, boyfriends, forget about show jumping.
Now, family is obviously crucial to you, and you have to have family time. So how do you do it? I understand that football takes over, but
what I do now is when we finish, if I have 1 or 2 days off, I drive sometimes by train, but normally drive, stay there, come back early in the morning because you have to train. So then the time that you are there, you want to relax, and then my wife says, "Okay, come on, we have to go have lunch together, or we have to go to the ice skating with a little one." So then fine, because it's different. So you don't need to think too much about, oh, I have to prepare this, and then this player will do that, or the other one. So it's just you go and enjoy.
Recently, I was talking to Pochettino about this, and if his wife knows that when he goes in and doesn't want to be disturbed, she wouldn't even start a proper conversation, but she'll behave like there is a conversation going on, knowing that there is nothing coming back because he's thinking of his thing. Has ever any manager been able to balance properly social life, family life, and profession?
No, I think so. It depends on your moment, your time. So when I was a young manager, and then for the young managers here, I remember at half-time we were losing 1-0 in the academy of Real Madrid, and then I have to pass through my family, and I didn't notice that they were there. So they were upset with me after the game. So, listen, you didn't say hello. I didn't say them. It was all my family, because I was thinking about what to do. Then at this time you have so much passion and you are so focused that maybe you leave the other things in one side. Later on, so you have to manage. You cannot say, oh, my family is the priority when you want to win the Champions League or you want to win trophies all the time and you have to perform every week. But when you are getting older, when you have more time, you have good people around you, your staff, they can do a lot of things that you were doing in the past. I'm telling you, my daughter Claudia, when I was in Extremadura, when she was 1 month, days, I was giving the bottle, and I was preparing the bottle. My wife was very tired at this time and weak. Then I was preparing the bottle, the remote control, and the videos. Then at 1 o'clock in the morning, I was watching the videos and with the bottle, and then taking notes. And the next one was at 4 o'clock or whatever, so I was preparing and watching. So at this time I was always doing that. When I was a coach, I was going the weekends, I could see 12, 14 games, because Cotorruelo in Madrid, they have 3 pitches together, and then you were in the middle and you were watching one, watching the one, going to the one, and after I was going with my team or whatever. Now you have the TV, you have your analysis department, you have your staff, so you have more time to think about the main or the most important things, and they prepare everything. What I told you at the beginning has to be simple. So I say, okay, you watch the game, then you have to give me 3 ideas, no 30 ideas. And at this time you were doing all these things, and now they can do it, and you can just use the main ones. People think that when you are successful, sometimes it's because you are lucky. Happened with ex-players, because sometimes they have the chances that the others don't have. And I was not a famous ex-player. I was playing football all my life, but no in first division. So you have to keep working harder. As a teacher that I had, she was always telling me, when you are getting older, you have to do double to have the same that the younger women they had, or the younger teachers. So in football it's the same. When you are not famous, you have to work harder double than the others, because then if you're not, you cannot compete with them.
What did Luis Aragonés say? The harder you work, the luckier you become.
Yeah, that is true. But it's not 100% right, because sometimes you have a top class player in your team and he can make the difference. So you have a very good team and they can make the difference. But what I say to you is coming from the academy, so working with a youth level and growing and going to different levels is when you realize, or when people can realize if you are a good coach or bad coach, and when you realize how difficult it is to go there. Some ex-players, they go straight with a good team, they can win. And people think, oh, he's great. Yeah, fine. But there are a lot of managers or coaches coming from the youth system, and maybe they are even better, but they don't have the chance to sit down there and then give 2 instructions and win games. That's it. They have to do a lot of work behind the scenes to be sure they can win.
We're talking about your family. We go back to football. I want to take you back to your family just for a second. Was there a family event?
I have 4 dogs. Look.
Oh yes.
4 dogs.
They're very big. The ones on the left are very big.
Yeah.
What are the names?
This Clem, Red, Goofy, and Honey.
Have they got
very noisy now when you go around. Oh, very noisy, but it's fine. So.
But they are the Wirral. They're not in with you in Newcastle.
No, they are there.
Do you keep a dog here? No.
No, I can't. No. When you go around, you have to go for games or whatever. You cannot leave the dog there. The dogs, they have to be comfortable with the family.
Mm-hmm. No, I was going to say, if you actually missed a family event that you had to apologize for to your kids, ever been in that situation?
No, not really. I think that my wife, she knows that I'm quite busy and I like football, but sometimes or when we are together for a while, she knows, as you say, Pochettino's wife, no, she knows this, she knows that. So and my daughters, more or less, they know. So I want to watch a game, and that's it. The difference is when I was a kid and my father wanted to watch the telly, you have to go to another room or no chance. And then because he was choosing the channel, and now they are choosing the channel, so you have to go to another room to watch the game. So they are watching whatever, and then then you have to go. When I said to them, so when my father said, listen, channel 1, in Spain you are younger than me, but in Spain you have channel 1, channel 2. So your father said, channel 1, that's it, and then you go channel 1, channel 2, channel 2.
And only half a day as well. You didn't have the whole day television. Yeah. And if you wanted to get lost completely, where do we find you? In a music concert, in a path in the middle of the forest, or where? No,
I like the mountains, but not the mountains. In Madrid, this area that you are close to the mountains, and we talk about that, the weather in Newcastle, this, that, and then my staff, they like, the beach in Alicante, this. So I don't like the sea, and I don't like too much the sun. And I like to stay in the mountains and stay with friends, play cards, we play moose, the game. So we try to stay relaxed doing these things. So it's not, and just with the telly or something, or now with internet, it's a quiet place. No the sea, no the mountains at the top. It's just with normal people, just talking about whatever.
Do you watch TV series?
Yeah.
What's your latest?
Only Fools and Horses and Friends and Fulton Towers and Father Ted.
But you stopped watching about 20 years ago then.
Yeah, I'm still watching them. So no, I like the English comedies. They are quite good.
Just finally, I remember the time in Liverpool when you first arrived, and you started doing a lot of things that you were criticised for, the formation, the rotation.
The zonal marking.
The zonal marking, of course, that now everybody's doing.
Yeah.
So I suppose there's a little bit of, is it the tragedy of the vanguardist? The one who tries first is going to be criticised, because why are you doing changing? Did you feel like that? Do you feel that you haven't been recognised properly?
No, I don't feel like that, but I know that it's like this, because the rotation, we won the league with Valencia, and then people here were criticising the rotation, and now everybody says, we need to rotate or we cannot go to the final because we will be tired. The zonal marking, a lot of teams they do zonal marking, but zonal marking is not just a way to do it. There are too many things to do zonal marking, so you have to do it in the right way, and still it's something that you can improve. I was talking, for example, about the under 21 league, and now they have the under 21 and the 23. This has to be maybe done in another way, but it's something that we say, listen, you cannot keep this reserve league that was in the past. They didn't have too many games and was not intensity, nothing. So the young players, they were not improving. And now they have that. So all these things that is what I said to you at the beginning. You go to another countries and you learn something, and then you try to put this or replicate this in England. Then I think it's fine, but people has to realize that you have to change, and you have to change based on the experience in another leagues in this case, because England now they are doing really well, but at this time they were not winning too much.
Mm-hmm.
At youth level they were not winning, so now they are doing different things in a different way, and that is fine. It's good. That is the reason why we enjoy in England, because if you have the desire, the passion, they understand that and they appreciate that, and they leave you to do your job.
And the other thing is, I don't think people know you that well, and I was surprised to hear when you went to Chelsea, a lot of journalists from the national newspapers, the ones that didn't know you from your time in Liverpool, telling me, oh, he's a nice guy, and it's like, well, what do you think? I mean, where did you get any other impression? Because you, by the way, weren't usually going to Liverpool. If you had, you would have known. So what do you think is that perception?
No, I am serious when I am doing my job, but as you say, I can tell you some jokes after, off the record. Can tell you some jokes, and normally our relationship with the staff is normal. So what I say before about my parents, so we are educated and we respect people, and we respect the people that they try to do their job properly. Then you have to be serious, and you have to approach the game in this case in the way that you have to do it to win. But if you have to defend your club, Chelsea, for example, it's a big lie when they say that I said that I never will go to Chelsea. It's not true. It was a teenager, on Twitter. But if you have to compete against Chelsea, or you have to compete against anyone, Liverpool, when I went to play against Liverpool, I wanted to win, because that is the way. So you have to, and it's what the fans, they expect from you, to compete for and to win for your team. So then sometimes in the confrontation with another managers, it was quite hard, or maybe with the press you try to protect yourself. Yeah, but we have Chelsea. I told people the other day, I was waiting for my family. They were coming here, and in the train station, a Chelsea fan approached me, said, "I'm a Chelsea fan. Thank you very much for what you did." And I said, "Listen, we had a very good relationship with the people there, with the staff, so we didn't have any problems." So one thing is what you can see from outside, but the reality, we didn't have any problems. Now people talking about, oh, Napoli, this, that. We have very good relationship with the staff there, with the people there. Inter de Milan, even the same, and Real Madrid. So we have good relationship with the professionals and the people that are working in these clubs. But the perception from outside, it depends each one. But the people that knows you close, they say, okay, you are normal. I don't say that I am amazing, because we have probably like everyone, or things that we don't do right. But we are normal, and we can talk with people. And you say your coaches, they were coming. Mm-hmm. For us, it's the same if they are coming from League One, League Two, or a top team in the Champions League. It doesn't matter.
You won't agree with me, but the way that Chelsea fans treated you was, in my eyes, it was bullying and it was xenophobia. The kind of insults you were getting, and that was corrected at the end. It felt that people started to understand you at the end, when you got to the targets that you came from.
But again, I will tell you, the board, they recognize that. I had a dinner with them, they invited, and then they were really happy, and I have messages from them, very, very positive, very good. But when I was going to buy, or to do shopping, I had people in the queue telling me, listen, you are doing a great job, carry on. So it's more than the fans, some fans, that then maybe they were guided, some of them properly for someone, some fans, but not the fans, because in the streets we were fine with the people. So I think it was more, and everything changed when we play against Middlesbrough in the cup, and I said live, listen, don't worry about me. I will do my job. I will try to win, and after I will leave. So since this day, I think the fans, as you say, they realize that hey, he's a professional, he's doing his job, and that's it. And it was much better.
No problems here in Newcastle of that kind at all. And I feel that, just to finish off, you feed from fighting. You are battling for this club to go to the next level. And without that battle, there's something missing in you? Do you feel that that helps you to get out of bed every morning and go and get them?
No. My relationship with the owners normally is not as bad as maybe people think, because I am fighting for the best for my club. So I'm not fighting for the best for Rafa Benitez. Normally I don't have any problem with my contract because it's more or less. It's just because I want to improve the facilities, or I want to improve the academy, or I want to bring better players for being more competitive, things like that. So the fans, they appreciate that. Has been the same in Napoli or in Liverpool here, so in Valencia, they appreciate that. And then for professionals, if they have this vision, they can go one step back and say, listen, it's improving my team, it's improving my club, it's improving my business. So then I think that people, professionals, they realize, and the perception, it depends. Now the social network changed everything in 1 minute. So some people can criticize you today, and in 2 days' time, they are praising you. So then if you realize now that it's like this, then you stay calm, you make decisions in a better way. So if you are too hurried to do something, you will make more mistakes. Now you have to stay calm. I can read my players when they say, oh yeah, half time he's calm. I'm not calm, and really sometimes desperate to change things and to win. But I understand that my job is to pass this confidence, this belief, like in Istanbul we did. So if I go half time, losing 3-0, and then I start panicking, no chance. Then you have to go there and say, listen, everything is under control. Maybe not, but you have to try to tell them that it's under control, and they will believe you.
What will Rafa Benitez be in 10 years' time? National coach of Spain? Of England?
Or England, yeah, you never know. So it depends if I improve my English. So I have to keep practicing.
If your English is good enough to change a 3-0 at half-time and get at Istanbul, then I think it's good enough to be the national manager of England.
So we'll see, you never know.
Gracias, Rafa.